All right. The next thing I want to show you is another technique you can use using the concept of joins. So one thing you can do, so what I showed you is how you can join information based off matching tables, two Excel tables. So there's another powerful joins is basically joins based off of overlapping features. So one thing that a lot of students did last semester was they found incidents of crime in St. Louis or in Los Angeles and that kind of thing. And they have all these dots on the map of where incidents happen. And what we wanted to show was which counties had, or which neighborhoods had the most incidents of crime. And we can use this using joins. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start a new document. I'll sure, save it. Okay. And I'm going to bring back that. Actually, I'm going to open the open a recent one. Open the tracks file here that we worked on later. And I'm going to add a piece of information in week 2. There's a thing called July 2015.csv. What is that? That is crime data set that I downloaded from the St. Louis Police Department. So how I got it, I went to the St. Louis Police Department, I think. And not that one, St. Louis crime data sets. And where did I find this one here? Yep. So Metropolitan St. Louis Police Department, you can download crime information from this site here. Some places give you information for free, some don't. And this is basically just a map that maps out all the locations of crime. So where I got this from, I believe I got it from, where did I get it? Public information. Sorry, let me find it again. Crime statistics, there we go. Crime statistics, you can download crime files here. And you see you can download crime reports for July, June, May. It does it every month. And what we want is this .csv file here. So I just downloaded the most recent one, July 2015. Again, let's open Excel, and I'll show you what that stuff looks like. You can open that CSV file in Excel. Open. I'll just go to recent places. Actually, I think just double click this thing. Oh yeah, July 2015, just double click this guy. Okay, so what you get here is a table basically. You get everything you need to know about crime, the time the crime happened, the type of crime, so you see all these descriptions here. And the important thing that we need is this last two columns here, X and Y coordinate. As you might guess, you can take these numbers and you can literally map out a dot of where this stuff happened. So I'll show you how to do that. So we know we have this table here. Let's bring it into GIS. So GIS, go to File, Add Data, Add X, Y data. You want to connect it to that field that we looked at earlier, so July 2015.csv. It already knows that the X field is X chord, Y field is a Y chord. There is no Z field. There's no, crime doesn't happen higher than other crimes. It all happens on the earth. So just click OK. Just click OK here. And voila, you got all these dots that mark where the crime happened in St. Louis. Now, I can't guarantee this is going to work for every time you do it. These numbers here pertain to a particular coordinate system. And so that's why picking the correct coordinate system is super important for these kind of things. In this case, I used the standard St. Louis city coordinate system, which is Missouri East FPS, FIPS, this guy here. I know this, whenever you're working in St. Louis, is the one you want to use. So this came in correctly. You notice, for whatever reason, there are no dots down here. That's not because no crime there, it's just because they're not being reported, and for every reason there's just a line where they just stop counting information. So that's an anomaly in what is otherwise a fairly seemingly accurate data set here. So what we want to do now is we want to basically find out in each of these tracks how many of these crimes are happening in each track. Then we can map it in terms of density, so you can kind of get a sense of like where most crime is happening in St. Louis. So the first thing we need to do is go to this new piece of data we just added, go to the attribute table, and we need to add a field called count. It already comes with a field called count. But for whatever reason, like some of them are like labeled -1, which doesn't make sense. All this means is we need to create a field that has a value of 1 so that we can count it. So that when we overlap it with the shape, it can count 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1. It's going to add these together. So we just need a field that just says 1 in every single row. So for every reason, there's these -1s here that don't make any sense. It might be actually might make sense because of the crime that's involved here, but just for the sake of the tutorial, we'll just add a field here. Okay, so you can't add field here. The way you fix that, you just export the data. Export data. The data frame. Just call this crime July 15 dot shape. Okay. Yes. So now you have your shapefile added to it. Remove the other thing you did, and now you should be able to add a field into your table. Just call this crime count. And it's just going to be a number, so just short integer is fine. Right click, field calculator. Crime count equals 1. Okay. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Great. Okay, so now let's go back here and let's go back to our tracks. Right click and joins and relates. And join, you want to choose a new category called join data from another layer based on spatial location. And it's gonna automatically pick crime July 15. How it's going to summarize that data, we want to click the sum of the data. Okay, and then it's going to export that as a new shapefile again. So just give this new shapefile. I'll call it crime tracks dot shape. Actually, that's a weird location for that. Let's just pick a better location. Save it in my JS folder. Crime. I already did it as a practice run. I'll just go to crime July 15 too. Okay. Click OK. Spatial joining. It's counting the number of dots in each parcel. So you use this if you want to gather statistics based off data that you've found off a survey, based off data you found on the internet, and you want to visualize it in a way that is easier to understand. That's not just a bunch of dots. And this is how you do it. So just wait for this thing to happen. Okay, so now it added a new crime July 2. And if you look at the attribute table here, what it did is at the very end, it's going to summarize all the features in this table here. And so most of this is actually kind of meaningless. It's going to sum the x coordinate, it's going to sum the y coordinate. It doesn't make any sense. What we want is this guy here, sum of crime count. And that actually added up all the crimes in each parcel. So this is what you visualize here, sum crime count. Again, go to your properties. Want to visualize it based off quantities. The value will be crime count. And we want to normalize it based off the area, which is area right here. Let's give it 10 classes, apply, okay. And there you go. That's because there was no crime data in the surrounding parcels, you don't get anything. But this is your picture of essentially crime in St. Louis. A lot of it happens downtown, a lot of it happens in South City, a lot of it in North City, This place here, relatively safe in comparison. Obviously, things like maybe things like Forest Park, which is around here, is a little safer, which makes sense since there's less security in the area. So that's how you join data based off spatial joins.